Yeah.
Yes, before he's sacked. No, honestly, that's you. Yeah, there's, I think, really, some of the best players in the National Football League are collected on in as pass rushers on the defensive front, and that's some of the most strained matchups you have, regardless of the team you're playing against. So, being able to play to that and not have the quarterback have the ball that long before he throws it minimizes the chance for those negative plays. However, there's a lot of variables that can go into play where guys may not be able to get open in those times. So it's not a mandate. You want the ball out at a certain time. It's more that you're trying to play to the strength of your team, and when things are open and when both the offensive player and the scheme allow for a player to be open early in the time of the play, you take advantage of that because it's more difficult for the defense to have a negative play on your line of scrimmage or behind it.
So going into the last year of his current contract,
Absolutely. I think one of the cool things in this organization is how communicative and how well I work with Chris Greer, and as well as how I can separate what my job is and what his job is and how we move forward. I'm very encouraged. They're both Tua's representation and our organization is hard at work. Those timelines are impossible to predict, and I'm not. My main concern this offseason has been communicating what Tua needs from his head coach and his offensive coaching staff, which is what things can we identify to continue the progression of your game the same way that we have since day one. My belief has always been strong from day one in Tua. It's stronger than it was the first day I met him. And that's because of that relationship where I'm focused, which is continuing to provide the coaching so he can continue to evolve his game as he has since the second that I started talking to him.
As you look at this offense in 2020, yeah, he gives you a look, but then he can snap out of it and kind of looks at you like, but I have one of those too, so we're kind of trying to get to know each other.
Yeah, it's an interesting question that I regard, but it's not like I look at every off season, every year's offense is a constant evolution to your players and to what defenses are doing. So what we're doing, I'm never going to copy paste and be like, well, this is what we did in 2023, and let's work off of that. I think that's part of the way that you can stay, ultimately trying to create some uncertainty and indecision with offensive scheme. And inherent in that is your constant evolution. I'm not really ever gloating on any successes of past. You're more, what are we going to do with this set of players in this, so we're going to have some guys that are going to be in year 3, some guys year 2, and some new guys. But ultimately, what's the best thing to serve them? And, it's not, that's naturally evolving. There's never been one year from an offensive perspective that I can remember that we've stayed exactly the same, and particularly since I got started here in 2022. So there'll be exciting things that we do different. There's going to be exciting things that we will evolve from, and there's exciting things that we will build upon the success of the first 2 years.
Can you explain what was somebody's got to
It's really more.
Yeah, that was something I couldn't, in regards to, the defensive coordinator transition this offseason. I'd be lying if I said I was expecting that during the season at all. And I think, Vic would feel similarly. What happened is basically, I think it's important when the season ends for you to remove emotion and evaluate and have very, very good conversation with all people that you're depending on. With Vic and I, we had extensive conversations that was very healthy, and ultimately, when push came to shove, it seemed like we both had the opportunity and be best for both parties involved to literally mutually part. So it wasn't anticipated. It was something that, I think was a factor of great communication between him and I, where, we feel like we're all best served if we go a different direction, which is something that we had mutual belief and excited for both parties moving forward.
In this year with HN and Mostert, right? HN led the league in, I think it's yards per attempt. Mostert with all the touchdowns. Are you looking to add to the running back room, or are you good with the guys you got?
No, so there is never that sense of complacency with any phase. I think we did make substantial improvements in the run game, which was something that a year ago at this press conference I was probably talking about that we needed to do. And that doesn't stop. I think that's running the football is the way to dictate the terms more than anything in football. One team has the ball, the other team doesn't, and it's the orchestration of offense that's the least risky in terms of turning the ball over, et cetera, et cetera. That's something that will continue to try to evolve. Our minds are always open. We're always creating competition and always trying to find new ways to have different sort of successes and evolve on the front end, not the back end.
Coach, what can you say about assistant D-line coach Kenny Baker and on to the Texas Longhorns? Do you have anything for Texas fans they might want to know about that guy?
We got a great coach, a great leader of men, somebody that the human part of me, the human element of the head coach was super excited for Kenny. Wasn't extremely excited about losing him, but I think that speaks to the type of leader, developer, communicator, and just overall coach that the University of Texas is really getting. So they should be elated with that asset, and something I'm really excited for Kenny. Earned opportunity at a great institution.
What was the single most important part of Tua's development last year?
Well, reps he had more reps than he's ever had in his career because he played the full season. That was something that, football, there's a lot of things that can happen. There's also a lot of things you can control. I think one of the best examples of taking control over your career is what Tua was able to do through training and being able to experience all the different things. Experience a playoff game for the first time in his career. That was afforded to him because he was able to be leading the team week in, week out. These are things that weren't necessarily assumed he was capable of doing, but like most things that Tua has done in his career, he's recognized that and proved doubters wrong.
Mike, I recently read your favorite book, Talent is Overrated. I was wondering, did you share that specific book with Tua, and how would you describe your appetite as far as finding new material?
Well, unbeknownst to most people, including all of the our local beat writers, I've been subconsciously implanting themes of talent is overrated since I got the job. So, unbeknownst to you guys know like half of the things that are a fixture of that book. Deliberate practice is a huge theme. amongst that. But I haven't forced the reading. I've referenced the book multiple times, but the major lessons from that book, I think are common themes that that both the players and you guys hear all the time. What's that?
Has Teron Armstead told you or the organization plans to punch?
I have let time allow for what is an important decision for him. I let time from the season evolve so that he can give us a window into what he's thinking. But I haven't. I think it's important. There's a roller coaster of emotions when you're talking about potentially leaving a game that you're elite at, and the pros and cons of that. He's been an unbelievable leader, and he's really battled through a ton of different things for us. And right now he's determining something that him and his body are the only people that know, and we are very open for that. However, we also have to allow for that time and assess all options so that the Miami Dolphins have plans regardless of any sort of scenario, which is what we get paid to do. But there's not anybody that's earned more liberty to take his time to figure out what's the next step in his life and if it's with this team or not. So we're allowing that with Teron, and excited to hear some conclusions he's drawn in the near future.
What made you comfortable in not making a change with the special teams coaching after the unit ranked bottom the last week?
Oh, it's a good question. I think so many of the decisions that I have to make are very layered, and although results are very, very important, and I think Coach Crossman would agree with the statement that the results aren't where we want them to be. However, so much of my job is determining the compounding variables and the whys to things, and ultimately I think that the bottom line is picturing us moving forward and how to get that phase of the football team to find the improvement necessary for us to take steps in our game as a team, and determined that he was the appropriate guy to lead us to fix the things that haven't been up to the standard. So that's something that isn't as easy as, all right, things are, and I don't think it's appropriate for you to just, point blank say, okay, the results aren't there. You shouldn't be either. You have to assess the whys and come up with a game plan of how we're going to improve that phase, which is very important to us moving forward, and which is why Danny's part of it.
Mike, what are Danny's qualities that tell you he's the right guy to turn that?
Well, yeah. So you have a window into the true depth of someone's coaching ability when you're working alongside them every single day, and part of the process of factoring those things is how, ultimately, how is a coach able to communicate to a player to get him better? And although the results haven't been there, what I've seen is players responding in the appropriate way to things that Danny has to offer. Now, does that mean we're not taking a hard look at everything with regard to scheme, to players? Absolutely not. Everything is on the table. What has been established is the communicator, the leader, and the guy devoted to getting it right, Danny Crossman, felt like held the most merit to coach this unit moving forward. I think that if players didn't respond to him, it would be a different conversation. But I think we'll collectively work together to right something that we know that we can improve upon. that's very tangible, and excited to do that.
Last question.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Our biggest challenge is sitting down and go eye to eye and then in college say, I know the player. I'm not going to so hard. So what I really get from right now is talking with all of our scouts.
Well, so why is it, if you're good at algebra, does that mean you're good at calculus? There's steps in between, right? It's a different orchestration of talent execution. It's a different, and the college football is a different game that has overlapping variables. But it'd be far-fetched to say at any position, collegiate success dictates professional success. It's a different orchestration of an 11 person game, and there's different nuances to it. The time with which you have to throw is different. The space is different. The space that you have to throw in the pocket, the space down the field, just all the things that are pillars of the professional game. There's a disparity in really what the quarterback is asked to do relative to what they're doing in college.